Welcome to our deep dive into ERP and how it's shaking up the automotive industry. We got some really interesting stuff here from CorporateServe. They really seem to believe that ERP systems can be a total game changer in this complex world of car manufacturing. So let's get into it and see how software can impact everything, from those crazy supply chains to building those all-important relationships with customers.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating how much the automotive industry has evolved. It's not just about assembling cars anymore. It's this intricate web of suppliers and manufacturers and distributors, and then, of course, the people who actually buy the cars. Any little hiccup, whether it's in the supply chain or a sudden change in demand, or even new regulations, can throw the whole system off.
It really is like this massive machine
Yeah.
where every single piece has to be working perfectly in sync. And that's where ERP comes in, right?
Exactly. CorporateServe really emphasizes how their systems are tailored, specifically to the needs of this industry. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. Think of it as the central nervous system for an automotive business.
Okay, I like that analogy, but let's break it down a bit more. What does it actually mean for an ERP system to act as the central nervous system?
Well, it means connecting all the different departments, from procurement and manufacturing to sales and finance, and it gives them real-time insights that help everyone make smarter decisions.
So it's about breaking down those walls between departments, getting everyone on the same page.
You got it. Now, CorporateServe gets into some really specific features that I think you'll find interesting. Like they highlight this whole idea of complete auditability.
Okay, complete auditability. What does that even mean when we're talking about the automotive industry? Is it just about keeping track of all the parts?
It goes way beyond that. We're talking about being able to trace every single part throughout the entire life of the vehicle. Imagine a situation where there's a problem with a certain batch of brake pads. With a solid ERP system, you can track those pads back to where they came from, figure out exactly which cars they went into, and launch a targeted recall.
Wow, so it's not just about efficiency then. It's about safety and protecting the reputation of the brand. That kind of traceability is crucial.
Absolutely. And for that, you specifically think about how valuable that would be if you were buying a used car. Knowing the history of every single part could give you a lot of peace of mind.
That's a great point. Okay, what about inventory control? I imagine managing all those suppliers and parts must be a logistical nightmare.
You're telling me. That's where this concept of materials requirement planning, or MRP, comes in. With an ERP system, you have a real-time view of your inventory levels. You can see demand forecasts and know exactly when your suppliers can deliver. The system can actually automatically generate purchase orders. When inventory gets low, making sure you always have the right parts at the right time, it cuts down on storage costs and prevents those frustrating production delays.
So it's like a perfectly timed delivery system for every single part.
Exactly. And that's been especially important with all the global supply chain issues lately. Remember that whole chip shortage a while back? An ERP system can help navigate disruptions like that way more effectively.
Yeah, it's not just about efficiency anymore. It's about being able to adapt and stay resilient when things go wrong. So what else jumped out at you from CorporateServe's materials?
They really emphasize supply chain monitoring, and I think that's key. We're talking about real-time data on every single step of the process, from sourcing raw materials to actually getting those materials where they need to go. It's like having this bird's eye view of your entire operation.
I'm liking this more and more. What kind of insights are we talking about here?
Imagine being able to track a shipment of steel all the way from the mill to your factory floor. You could see potential delays because of weather or traffic, and actually adjust production schedules proactively.
So it's about anticipating problems before they happen. That's a serious advantage in such a fast-paced industry.
Exactly. And they also touch on this thing called CRM integration, which is all about managing relationships with customers.
So it's not just about building cars. It's about building lasting connections with the people who buy them. I'm curious to hear more about that.
Think about it this way. A customer brings their car in for service. With a CRM module, the technician can see the entire history of the vehicle. They can see past interactions and even personal preferences.
Wow, that's a recipe for amazing customer service. And probably a good way to build loyalty too.
Absolutely. And it doesn't stop there. Imagine the sales team being able to offer personalized promotions, or the marketing team sending targeted communications. All of this is possible with a good ERP system.
Okay, so we've covered auditability, inventory control, supply chain monitoring, and CRM integration. That's a lot already. But what about the financial side of things? Does ERP play a role there too?
Oh, absolutely. CorporateServe really highlights the importance of having strong financial modules. in their ERP systems. And it's not just about basic accounting.
Okay, I'm all ears. What makes these modules so special?
They give you real-time insights into every aspect of your finances. We're talking detailed breakdowns of costs, accurate tracking of taxes, and up-to-the-minute cash flow analysis.
So it's about having a clear picture of the financial health of the business to make better decisions.
Exactly. And for you thinking bigger picture, this level of transparency can actually have a really positive impact on sustainability and ethics. When you understand your financial footprint, you can make more responsible choices.
That's a great point. CorporateServe seems to be promoting a really holistic approach here, recognizing that every part of a business is connected.
They really are. And they emphasize another critical element, quality control and assurance. With an ERP system, companies can constantly monitor their production processes and make sure the quality is top-notch.
So if there's a problem, the system flags it immediately, so they can take action right away.
Exactly. Imagine a sensor on the production line. That detects a tiny variation in how a bolt is tightened. The ERP system flags it, the line stops for a minute. The issue is fixed, and a potential safety hazard is avoided.
So it's like having a watchdog on duty 24/7, making sure everything meets those high standards.
You got it. This is especially crucial in the automotive industry, where safety and reliability are non-negotiable. And CorporateServe points out that their systems help businesses keep up with all those regulations, which seem to be changing all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially with how complex cars are getting and the growing focus on safety and the environment. It sounds like CorporateServe is really walking the walk here. They mention having a global presence and a super diverse team of engineers, from mechanical experts to textile specialists.
That's a huge part of what they do. They're not just software developers. They have this deep understanding of the automotive industry, and they're really focused on working with businesses to find solutions to their unique challenges.
It sounds like they're really invested in helping automotive companies succeed. And speaking of success, they talk about a lot of ways ERP can optimize a business. What are some of the highlights for you?
One of the biggest areas is optimizing those supply chains and production schedules we were talking about earlier. It's all about finding that sweet spot between supply and demand.
You mentioned materials requirement planning before, but how does that actually play out in the real world? How does an ERP system really optimize things?
Okay, let's say a car manufacturer is planning production for the next few months. With an ERP system, they can see exactly how their suppliers are performing. They have all the historical data on demand fluctuations, and they know exactly what's in all their warehouses. That means they can create these super accurate demand forecasts.
So they can avoid those situations where they have too much stuff sitting around, parts just taking up space in a warehouse, costing them money.
Exactly. And on the flip side, they can avoid those nightmare scenarios where the production line comes to a screeching halt because they're missing some crucial part. It's all about that just-in-time manufacturing magic, which saves a ton of money and makes everything so much more efficient.
Yeah. That real-time data and being able to predict what's coming, that seems like it's essential in today's world. But it's not just about the big picture, is it? They also mention how it helps streamline those everyday tasks.
You're right. Think about all those manual processes, like dealing with invoices, processing orders, tracking shipments. An ERP system can automate a lot of that stuff so employees can focus on more important things.
So it's not just about saving time, it's about empowering people to do their best work.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just making things easier. It's about making things better. They talk about managing the entire life cycle of a product, from the initial design phase all the way through manufacturing, after-sales service, and even recycling at the end.
Wow, having all that information in one place, that has to be incredibly valuable. You can make smarter design choices, have better coordination between engineering and manufacturing, and even streamline the whole recycling process.
Absolutely. It could even lead to more innovation since different teams can easily access the latest information and collaborate more effectively.
That's fascinating. It's a totally holistic approach to product development. But let's not forget about what's happening on the factory floor. They mentioned some really cool tools for visualizing production output and pinpointing those inefficiencies.
Oh, yeah. That's really important. You can see in real time how many units are being produced. You can identify bottlenecks that are slowing things down and even figure out exactly how much those losses are costing you.
So you can make data-driven decisions about where to focus your improvement efforts and ultimately maximize production and minimize downtime.
Exactly. They even talk about having these robust tools for managing components on the shop floor, making sure the right materials are always available. It's all about keeping those production lines humming.
It's pretty impressive how much this ERP system can do. But I'm curious, how do they address the human element in all of this? We've been talking a lot about software and data, but what about the people who are actually using these systems?
That's where CorporateServe's expertise really comes in. They emphasize this really collaborative approach to implementation. They work closely with companies to figure out their specific needs, and they have this incredible team of engineers from all sorts of different fields, mechanical, electrical, you name it, all of them with tons of experience in the automotive world.
So they're not just tech experts, they really get how cars are made.
Mm.
And they understand all the challenges that companies in this industry face.
Precisely. They have a ton of experience deploying ERP systems in really complex multi-site manufacturing environments.
That's reassuring, especially for those bigger companies
Yeah,
with operations all over the place. But it sounds like they're not just focused on the big players.
you're right. They talk about empowering businesses of all sizes. Whether it's a small part supplier or a huge assembly plant, it's all about meeting companies where they are and helping them achieve their goals.
I like that. It's not about pushing some one-size-fits-all solution. It's about finding the right fit for each individual business. And they do highlight some really impressive results, especially when it comes to data analytics.
Yeah, remember how we were talking about using real-time data to make proactive decisions? Well, CorporateServe takes it even further. They really emphasize the importance of analyzing historical data.
Yeah, I'm listening. How do they use that to help their clients?
Think about it. By looking at past performance, you can spot trends and patterns. You might find out that a certain supplier is always late, or that a specific component has a higher defect rate. This information lets you make smarter decisions about choosing suppliers, managing inventory, even designing products.
So it's about using data to not just react to the present, but to anticipate the future.
You got it. And it goes way beyond just operational efficiency. They talk about using data to optimize marketing strategies, to target specific groups of customers, and even personalize marketing messages based on individual preferences.
That's pretty powerful stuff. So they're not just helping automotive businesses build better cars, they're helping them sell those cars more effectively too.
Exactly. And just imagine what kind of insights you could gain if you had access to that level of data. Think about what you could do with that.
It's definitely something to think about. It opens up a lot of possibilities for research and analysis, and even predicting what's going to happen in the market.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with all that, they do mention some very practical applications of their system, like keeping track of inventory across the entire supply chain.
Right. They talk about having complete visibility from the manufacturer's warehouse to the distributor and all the way to the dealership. That level of detail is essential to make sure deliveries happen on time, to avoid running out of stock, and to keep customers happy.
It makes sense. People expect things to happen quickly these days, and if a car part isn't available, it can cause a lot of problems.
Absolutely. CorporateServe emphasizes that their ERP systems really help different departments within a company talk to each other.
So it's about breaking down those silos and creating a more unified and efficient organization.
Exactly. No more departments working in isolation. Everyone has access to the same real-time information, which means better communication, better collaboration, and ultimately better results for the business.
Well, it's clear that CorporateServe is offering a lot more than just a piece of software.
It's a whole new way of thinking about how to optimize an automotive business.
It's really impressive. They're not just giving you the software, they're giving you the expertise and the support you need to actually make it work. And not just survive, but actually thrive in this crazy competitive industry.
It really is a powerful combination. What stood out to you the most?
That's a tough one. There's just so much. The way everything is integrated across different departments, being able to see what's happening in real time, that focus on building strong relationships with customers, it's all really impressive.
I think what sets them apart is how they bring all these different elements together into one system. It's like they've created this symphony of efficiency where every piece is working perfectly in harmony. And they haven't forgotten about the human side of it all either.
Yeah, that's a crucial point. The technology is just one piece of the puzzle. You need to combine that with a deep understanding of the industry and a real commitment to helping businesses succeed.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive here, the key takeaway for you is this. Whether you're a seasoned pro in the automotive world or just someone who's fascinated by how things work, ERP is definitely something worth checking out. It's this really cool intersection of technology and business strategy.
I couldn't agree more. And if you're looking for someone to guide you, CorporateServe seems like the perfect partner. They clearly have the experience, the expertise, and the passion to help automotive businesses reach their full potential.
Well said. But before we go, let's leave you with something to think about. How do you think ERP is going to change as the automotive industry keeps evolving?
That's a great question. Are we going to see even more integration with AI and the Internet of Things?
It's definitely a possibility. And how will ERP help companies deal with the shift towards electric and self-driving cars?
These are definitely exciting times with a lot of big questions to answer. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts on all this. So head over to our website or social media and let us know what you think.
We're always up for a good conversation.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.